This is the local music revolution. The local music revolution. The local music revolution. The local music revolution.
Hello, and welcome to the Local Music Revolution. I will be your host, Ogre. So, I have kind of an alumni thing going on here. This guest is, he was on episode 5, talking about his band Farooq. So, if you want to go check that out, I will still be here when you are done. I invite all of my guests that I have on, everybody that you've heard me interview and everybody that I will interview has the option to come back and talk about any information that they want, any upcoming releases, any video releases, anything important or newsworthy that they want to share. They can come back on and be part of the episode for the following week. Up until Daniel contacted me, nobody had actually taken me up on that offer, and Daniel called me, so we booked an interview and we were off. This time Daniel came through because he has a solo project that he's put out. He is signed to a record label. Details of the contract and everything, as always, are confidential to those two. But the thing is, it's not a major label backing kind of thing. Daniel still essentially is an independent artist. So he's more than welcome to come on the show and hang out. And, by all means, being signed, I've seen what they're doing for him. And that is incredible that he's got that. But he still is being the independent dude. Because of the nature of Daniel's solo project and the nature of Farooq, they are two different genres that he's working with. So near the middle of the conversation, I tried to gear it towards how he differentiates what he's working on at the time and how he decides what goes where and how the different processes influence his work. Last episode, I mentioned that Daniel was on tour. That's because the week previous is when I recorded that. At recording time, he was touring. Currently, he just got back home early last week, and I'm hoping to contact him, see if I can get him back on the show, maybe share a few stories and stuff like that. I personally was following his band Farooq through Snapchat and Instagram and every other social media outlet that they were posting on, because I'm rooting for these guys. They're really, really cool. And he was able to actually go and have Farooq on the shows and his solo project. So I kind of want to see how pulling double duty every night was working for him. So hopefully that can come out fairly soon. Before we get to the bulk of this interview, I want to say thank you to you guys for listening. Seriously, it's amazing to have you guys listening to the podcast. Every one of you is amazing. You guys are tripping me out because there's so many people that have something to say about what I'm doing. It's all been positive and everything's been great. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank Stringjoy for being such an awesome sponsor of the podcast. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested in getting custom string sets or trying out new strings, I highly recommend Stringjoy. Go to stringjoy.com. Go check out their selection. They have electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and bass strings available currently. And if you want, you can actually buy customized string sets with custom gauges for you guys. You can work with the team there and they will figure out the best solution for what you are going for. When you're done shopping around for the strings, you're at checkout, enter the promo code LOCAL, that's LOCAL, and you'll get a discount for being a listener of the podcast. while you're at it, you can find Stringjoy on all social media. The tag is Stringjoy Staff. Go check them out. Let Scott know that you heard about Stringjoy through the Local Music Revolution. If you want to get to the Local Music Revolution and have up-to-date information on what the podcast is doing, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thelocalmusicrevolution. We're on Twitter at TLMR Podcast, on Instagram at The Local Music Revolution, and, of course, WordPress, where everything is run. You can go to thelocalmusicrevolution.wordpress.com. You will have all of the updated information for the podcast straight from the source, which is that WordPress account. Without any further ado, this is Daniel talking about his solo project, Vxdedxv. All right, we're live, man. And we're here with DED. How are you doing, man?
That's me. What's going on?
You are a rap artist in the Central Valley. You are also a frontman for a hardcore band out of Fresno. We will get to that later. But right now, how did you get into the whole genre of rapping and making your own music?
Well, I grew up in the 90s. That's when I started really hearing and listening to music and understanding it as a child. And I always had a love or an inclination towards hip-hop. My older cousins, my uncles, even my mom, had that stuff on throughout my childhood. And so it really, I don't know, it spoke to me. And like the TV shows I liked as a kid were like hip-hop influence. I was really into like In Living Color as a kid. It was like Saturday Night Live's competitor,
Yeah.
That was I wasn't even aware of what Saturday Night Live was. In Living Color was my show. And, Martin, the Martin Show, Martin Lawrence.
I loved Martin. I loved In Living Color. Those were the funniest shows back when I was a kid, man.
Yeah, that was the stuff I was into. And, hip-hop was, very much becoming a force to be reckoned with through the 90s. So, of course, like that hip-hop growing and me growing at the same time, like it was only right that I was at least aware of it. And, I don't know, I've always been into music, jazz, when he started to play music and all that. And jazz and hip-hop just have these, beautiful ties to each other.
Nice, man. So it just started
there as a child, and then, later trying it,
So you started, how did you start actually rapping and putting together rhymes and getting that rhythm going?
I used to write music, like sheet music, as a youngster, like 5th, 6th grade.
Wow,
and
manuscript?
I like the idea of writing music. It was just for myself. Like I used to just make up songs. Like I always had instruments around as a kid. My dad had a few guitars and the keyboards, and my mom did too. And so like I used to just play, just tinker around. And I learned how to write music, so I used to make up songs. And then when I was in high school, all my friends were into rap, and we wanted to start rapping, and so we started freestyling. And so I started, like maybe when I was 15, just freestyling, just making stuff up off the top of my head. And for a good year or so, me and a group of friends who were actually the hardcore kids in the local scene then, who also liked hip-hop, we used to go, to one of our houses every Friday and freestyle. And one of the guys in one of the bands, the locals, had turntables, so he used to spin break beats for us, and we would freestyle or we would beatbox for each other. And we always had my group of friends were skateboarders, and they liked to freestyle, so we were doing both of those things throughout high school.
Wow, nice, man, nice. So, how did that transition into you writing your own music and your own beats?
This was maybe 2000, around 2000, 2003, in between those years. It wasn't so easy for everybody to just download instrumentals and just record like now everything is so digital, like, and easy.
Yeah.
So I had a friend that learned how to loop beats, and he had a program he downloaded off the internet. He was my one friend that had some decent internet. And he downloaded like this program called Goldwave where you could edit audio.
Oh, nice.
And he would get the beginning or the end of a song we liked where it was only instrumental, and he would find the beginning and end points and loop it. And so he used to loop beats for us, and we used to do that. And then he kind of taught me how, and then, you know, I started doing it on my own, and that was a start. And then I had, like I said, I always had keyboards, and I learned I had one with a little recording function. So I started putting together these really terrible beats on this Yamaha keyboard. And I remember I liked really heavy bass sound, but I didn't understand how to make it, so I used to use the floor tom on the drums.
Oh, wow.
And I used to make the beats on the keyboard. I had found a cable. My buddy helped me. I hooked to the headphone out on the keyboard, and I hooked it into the microphone in on my mom's PC, and I would record the beats in all the way through, and then I would loop them on Goldwave.
Oh, nice.
And it would take forever. Oh my gosh. And they were awful. Like, for how long it took, you'd think it would at least be cool. No, some of them like took forever, and they were terrible. But I used to make my own beats, and then I didn't start in actually getting decent until like 6 years later, 7 years later. Because I go in and out of it because I was making all kinds of other different music and doing a bunch of different things. And then the writing lyrics, I didn't start writing for a couple of years because I just freestyled a lot. But sometimes I had something specific to say, so then I'd start writing things down.
All right, so
but that's how it started.
So going back just a little bit, you said that your friend learned how to sample, and in turn taught you, and then you started making your own beats. So which process do you prefer to write to? Do you like using the samples, or do you like making your own and adding and subtracting things to make your own vibe?
I very much enjoy making beats with samples in it. But at heart, I'm a musician, so I more gravitate towards making something original, making something new. Sampling is cool, especially for hip-hop, but, there's a certain line that, where you need to use that sample as inspiration versus just using the sample, looping it, and then just putting drums behind it. You hear a lot of, local, beat makers. That's all they do. They just grab a sample, they just hit it, make it loop, and then just throw beats behind it, and bam, they got a beat. You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring a new energy to things. I like rearranging things. My favorite thing to do is sample and then have somebody not know what it is, you know? Or not even know that it's sampled. But usually I'm making something completely original. But if I just want to make something quick, I'll pull up a sample and have fun with that too. I can't choose, but it's safer to not sample because you don't want to get caught up in trouble, even though that rarely happens nowadays.
Well, back about 6 months ago, I had writer's block, and
what's that?
Writer's block.
Yeah, that's not on my radar. I don't fuck with that.
Well, I just, I had been sitting here and nothing was coming to me. Nothing sounded good. It kind of sounded just ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So the recording program I have, it has where you have drums. You can use drum beats and everything like that. Create that, use samples, whatever. It's just there. So what I did was I put a song together with the drum samples, and then I played the guitar to it and got that going and everything. And, that kick started, the energy again. And the actual song, I took those drums away and I redid it with my own drums, It was inspiration and everything, but the basic form of the song was the same. And it was just, it was nice. It kind of, it let me figure out what was wrong and fix it, you know? And
Yep.
it's really nice to have that.
Totally.
All right, man. So so how long did it take you to write this album that you've just released? Which, by the way, what is the title of the album?
Title is called On the Clock.
On the Clock. All right.
It's a 6-song EP. And I don't know, it's quite a process.
Was it split up over a long period of time, or were you able to sit down and actually work on these songs and the EP?
I tried over the years to sit down and work on them, and it's just, I spread myself kind of thinly sometimes, which is kind of like the recurring theme that you'll hear in that. It's a very personal record, and so it'll talk about how I'm kind of pulled in a bunch of different directions. The instrumentals were actually made in 2010.
Oh, nice.
With one of my close friends, I'd consider my brother, Arthur Bueno, who's a guitar player, and he's an amazing guitar player at that. And I was unemployed at the time, and he wanted to kind of just jam and see what we could do together. So, you know, we got together, and he would come with a little bit of guitar riffage, and we'd kind of build off of that. Actually, the first song on the EP was our first instrumental we made together, and it was just like a trial thing, like, hey, let's try this out, see if we like it, and then we'll go from there. And we ended up just, you know, he would come to the house with some riffage, and then he'd lay some of it down, and we'd figure out harmonies, and I'd kind of direct him on where to go. I'd lay down some, like, rough drums, and then as he'd open up the guitars and kind of explore those, I would progress on the drums. And each one, probably from conception to final product, took at least 8 hours each. Just from writing while we're recording and rearranging. And he would lay down all the tracks on about a minute and a half of recording. Then I'd just do all the tracks, and I'd arrange them after he left.
Oh, nice.
And so, yeah, that was all of 2010. We were just doing that throughout a lot of the year. The original names of a lot of instrumentals were foods or certain teas that we drank when he came. So they're called, you know, Blue People, which is a tea that he really liked and he brought, or like, you know, tofu and rice, or, you know, kettle corn. That's what they were called at first.
Man,
and, we didn't know what to do with them, and then I decided when I had gotten signed to Hypergiant that I was going to make an EP out of those instrumentals.
So you got the instrumentals and everything, and you sat on them for a little while.
Quite some time.
So the next step is getting the lyrics and the vocal tracking. So how did you do that? Did you do it in a room in your house? Did you go to a friend's house, or did you go to a studio?
Oh yeah, no, I do everything out of my house. I had a recording. One of the bedrooms in my house was a recording room. When I started, then I ended up having to rent that room out, so I did some of it even in my living room.
Oh, nice. So, yeah. When you're tracking these vocals and everything in a place that's not ideal for tracking, do you have like a guard on your mic? How do you set that up to actually get the sound that you want? Do you experiment, or do you just go and add effects later?
Oh no, well I've been doing the recording thing for a good 10 years now, so I kind of understand. Like, I kind of have a setup already. I have soundproofing in certain spots of the house, and pop guards and all that stuff. So I'm able to get a really clean signal out of the equipment I have.
That's awesome,
so,
man.
My pop guards and my soundproofing, and then you know, my light reverbs and compression and all that afterwards.
So is there a specific chain that you use for your vocals that is throughout the entire EP, or is it one of those things where it's constantly moving throughout the songs?
Yeah, I was pretty close. Like a certain EQ I used It's all custom. Like I set up like one that was like for sure good.
Yeah.
And then I saved that chain, and then I pasted it over all the other ones, and then based on the energy of the song and the overall just feel of the song, I'd add more of a reverb, or maybe cut less of the lows out of my vocal, certain things, so then it all fits the instrumental.
Awesome, man. So I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say, I don't want it to seem like I'm rapping over instrumentals. I want it to feel like a whole experience,
Yeah, man, I got you. That's awesome, man. So, sorry. So, before you were talking about the first song that you guys worked on, you and your friend, you said it was the first song of your album, and that song's called In Due Time. Is there anything that you haven't said about that song?
The cool thing about rap music is, or mine is, it's pretty easy to understand. So I don't feel like I really need to like explain the song, because I'm explaining myself in every song. I'm kind of telling my story.
All right, man.
So, it kind of just talks about how I'm spreading myself very thinly, and how I couldn't wait anymore to put things out, and I couldn't wait anymore to get music out there, because I was tired of things holding me back.
Awesome, man. Right now we're going to play In Due Time.
Still holding on. Still holding on. They're telling me, well, I may not ever see my tomorrow. Always trying to save time for my people to borrow, cause it's hard to make time when they need it to borrow. And you gotta get up and do work. Like Big Black, you live fast and have to stop hard. They get whiplash, a quick tap from something that you thought was behind you could bring it all back. I guess it reminds you that time heals wounds, but the scars remain. So I do this to recover, not for cars and fame. Never sacrifice a soul for a larger name. I just have to make sense, and it's hard to change, alright. Due time is what they tell me. Due time is what they say. I don't even think I can wait for that no more. Nah. But they say, hey, I guess I'm just too quick to give it. I'm told it's easy to get through with the gimmick. Really? I'd rather be toothless and limbless, useless and finished from stupid decisions. It's never been an option. My movement and mission is true with conviction that grew in me wisdom. And all I'm asking of you is to listen, alright? No, it's not alright. This summer's been madness. I got all night, used all night, and missed the dawn of a new era. My lid's so gone, but I'm still holding on. My grip's so strong, on the way to go pro. You gotta kick those cons. Man, this feels wrong as an intro song, cause I really gotta go and it's been so long, alright. Time is still what they say, huh? This took years. I think that I'm done with due time. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Yeah, it's been like a jungle sometimes, it made me wonder how I kept from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, sometimes. You just gotta go solo.
And that was In Due Time.
Boy, no, you're crazy.
All right.
Bang, bang.
Daniel,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that you got signed, or that you're working with Hypergiant Records. Can you go into how you got in touch with those guys and how you became essentially partners with these guys?
Yeah. It's Caden and Heather at Hypergiant Records, just two great people. They actually run a clothing label called Clear-Minded Clothing, which I was just a big fan of in the first place. And so I followed them and whatnot, and they followed me on social networking. And word got out that they were starting to put together a record label, and my good friend Cypher Manuel out of Tracy, California, got signed to them, and I hit him up like, hey man, what does that entail? What's going on? What do you think? And he let me know. He gave me the info, and then I told him I was interested and asked if he could put in a good word for me, and he did. And so I contacted them, and they were very excited. I didn't know this, but they're actually fans of my music already.
Nice.
So that was really exciting to just get support. It's always exciting to have any kind of support, but from people who are actually like being involved in music and trying to put their own time and money behind getting music out there, to have their support was huge and inspiring, and very much kind of lit a fire under me. So we were in contact for a while, and then they sent me a contract, and everything was, started rolling from there. And it was really good. They, they take care of some promotion and the production of my physical media and digital media, and they get it out to the outlets that I would have to do myself that now I don't, which is really awesome.
All right, man. So you're talking about them using or helping put out your physical media. And one of the things I saw when I was doing the research for this is they're selling cassettes of your EP.
Yeah.
Was that one of your decisions, or was that something that's like all inclusive that they do for everybody?
When I had originally signed a contract with them, they gave me a choice. We want to put some things out for you. Do you want shirts? Do you want vinyls? Do you want cassettes? Do you want CDs? What are we doing? And I kind of let them, like, they know about what sells and what works, and I know about music, and we very much respect each other in that. So I very much trust Kay and Heather on what media to make, how to put it out there and all that. They're amazing at that. And so I let them do that, and then they just let me music it up. So they were doing cassettes at the time. They actually physically make the cassettes themselves.
Wow.
So these cassettes that people are buying are these beautiful, high-quality cassettes that they dub on their own, that they're these custom dipped, painted cassettes. And so every single one is different than the other, and they're gorgeous. And so the cassette thing was their idea, and then after some of the cassettes sold pretty well, I asked to see if we could get some CDs made, and they obliged, which was very nice of them. And so then came the discs, because I was getting a lot of people asking for discs.
Nice. Yeah. That's preferred media there. So you have cassettes, you have CDs, and it's digital. Are there any plans for you to actually make a vinyl of this EP in the future?
I was thinking about it. I got to see how the rest of this sells. Vinyls are insanely expensive to make, and I am not Hypergiant Records' only artist. They have just this insane roster of artists that are great. My favorite personal is this band, I believe they're out of Tennessee, called Orthodox.
Awesome.
So good. So heavy, very aggressive. You'd like them. I can't listen to them too much because they make me want to just punch stuff and set things on fire for the good of the world. They're awesome. So vinyls, I would love that, but I have a few other things that I got to take care of before that thing happens. So yes, vinyls were on our mind, but not the best decision at this time. This was my first release for them, and if I can't get a couple cassettes off and a few CDs off, then the investment for vinyls wouldn't be smart for them. So I haven't asked, and they haven't offered, and it's cool because I like the cassettes and I love what they do.
Nice, man. Sorry, I lost my. Oh, there we go. Okay, man. So you've got the EP, and they're hand making these cassettes for you and the CD. So my question is, how did you do the cover art and the concept behind that? Can you go into talking about how that process worked for you?
Oh yeah, every time I need any kind of art made, and I need it to be at its best, I go to my good friend Robert Lopez, aka Zero Lopez, and I show him the music, and then I kind of give him my ideas, and then I let him be the amazing artist he is. It's very much an honor and a privilege to work with him. You know, he's been a good friend of mine for a few years, and so that was it. I gave him some ideas, and he gave me his ideas and his color scheme ideas, and I very much believe in letting an artist be an artist. And, you know, he listened to the music, he showed me the energy, and then we kind of fine-tuned it, and then that's what it was. That's what it came to be. The picture was kind of like a self-portrait that he drew.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And then it's like he kind of decayed the face, so you can kind of see some skeleton, and it was a representative of it was basically how personal this release was, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's just me, there's no features on it, you know? And, you know, the skeleton kind of showed it down to, in my eyes, to be like bare bones. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of bells and whistles. This is music. It's guitars and it's drums and it's, you know, expression.
Awesome, man. So you enjoy giving your idea and then letting an artist be as awesome as they can be with that idea.
Yeah, that's how I like to be treated as well. You know, when I do instrumentals and I make beats and production for you know, other artists and stuff. And I really, you know, just you should, if you already have your thing going, like Zero Lopez very much has his style and he has his thing going. And if you just let him be him, he's going to be amazing. So that's all you got to do.
Yeah, man. I've done that before. You know, I've been in bands where people told me, you know, you can't play the drums like this in this part. And it's like, I hear this. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me not to do these things and not let me, you know, be me. So when I've told people this, just do what you do and you be awesome. This is your thing to do. There are actually some people that refuse to do it that I've worked with. They're like, what do you want? It's like, I told you my idea, run with it. You be you. Have you ever actually met somebody that's just like, I can't, it's not your idea or something like that? They've kind of been resistant to the idea of letting themselves be an artist?
Yeah, but I usually notice that those people don't really know who they are as artists, or sometimes even as people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've played music around for a long time with a lot of different kinds of people, and I know that some people, they're kind of just emulating something that they like, so they don't really know who they are as artists. They know who they want to be as artists, and they're trying to pull off something that they've seen, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do shit that people have never seen before. People have never, you know, I'm trying to provide perspective that's only mine.
Yeah, and that's what art is about, and that is what music is about. You're expressing who you are. You're sharing part of yourself with people. You should be able to do that. You should feel comfortable enough to be able to do that. And sadly, it's not always the case, and, you know, it's a very, very sad fact.
Yep.
All right, man. So, can you tell me about the song Sleep is for the Weak?
Yeah, that was a wordplay one. I couldn't decide how to spell it. It was either W-E-E-K or W-E-A-K, but I have a feeling if I had done W-E-E-K, people would have been like, oh, you spelled it wrong, stupid. So I just left it for the other one. You know, that common cliche. But I really meant it for W-E-E-K, like, because of how I would, at the time I wrote it, like, I was working a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 type job.
Yeah.
But it was actually more to like 9 to 7, 9 to 8. Like, it always went longer. But during the week, I get made fun of from my friends and other artists that I work with. They're like, "Oh, you can't call D after 9. You can't call D after 9 on a weekday. You better get ready to get cussed out, or he's not going to acknowledge you." Oh, you call D after 9 on a Sunday? What? You're crazy. Like, because they knew, like, you know, when I was at work at the 9 to 5, like that was it. I was going to, you know, go to work and sleep and all that. But even then, like, because I had so many other things going and so much on my mind, like, I couldn't actually try to sleep. Like, I couldn't even sleep. Like, I tried. But if those folks only knew, like, how many days after 9, like, I was just sitting there, like, trying to sleep, you know?
Oh, man, I completely
So it's about
understand.
that and my struggles with exhaustion and sleep and all that stuff. And my hallucinations when in between sleep and all that fun stuff.
All right, man, this is Sleep is for the Weak.
I know that.
Boom.
I always heard that sleep is for the weak, so I really don't on weekends. Just try to stay afloat, kind of falling off the deep end and barely making time. Almost lost at prelims, but I'm cutting towards the goal, pushing through the crease and shooting top shelf. Got help from the assist man, playmaker Philly, that's the best there is. Hitman, haters throwing dirt, but I ain't tripping on some quicksand. Just keeping it rolling till I fall like a bike without a kickstand. And this jam is for you. If you're living off of coffee, hitting snooze 20 times, keep getting up like Rocky. Say this world is mine, a little pain will never stop me. Gliding through this cold game, taking checks like hockey, then jumping back in right after your shift ends. Sad when you gotta punch the clock and miss friends. Hopefully they understand, but if they only knew whose name's on all the bills anyways. Only you, and it's that running late, wrong turn, every red light. Life not much left, so you gotta get right. Life tired all day, but alive all night. Life tired all day, but alive all night. I gotta lay down, toss, turn, repeat, then I wake up, toss, turn, repeat, then I lay down, toss, turn, repeat. I just wanna get some sleep. I try to stay in tune, just as solid as its base is. Crossing through a matrix, no idea where my base is. Looking to achieve greatness, but overlook the basics. Living on the need to go basis, stolen took my basis. After taking looks at everything that crossed my plate, try not to flake, but I'm often late. Sorry if you ever had to stop and wait, and I left your social situation in an awkward state. Sometimes I showed up, talked to Nate, but it's not a date. Heart harder than stone, trying to wipe off the slate. And that's the kind of behavior I know my mom would hate. Just feeling let out to slaughter another job mistake. I spot the fakes with all the traits of a government leader, knowing they intend to overrun my demeanor. Cause I'm one call away from my bro with the heaters. Still promising lady luck that I won't love her and leave her. I'm on that running late, wrong turn, every red light. Life not much left, so you gotta get right. Life tired all day, but alive all night. Life tired all day, but alive all night. I gotta lay down, toss, turn, repeat, then I wake up, toss, turn, repeat, then I lay down, toss, turn, repeat. I just wanna get some sleep. Hey, have you ever had that dream where you're trying to sleep? Or ever woke up in that dream, still sleeping? Count the hours till your alarm hits instead of sheep. Go extra hard all week and then sleep through half your weekends. Damn, this is freaking insanity. If I don't rest soon, I'ma feel like a casualty. Now before I start my days, I always need me some caffeine. I mean, I need some coffee. Why am I speaking so crappily? I gotta lay down, but I toss, I turn, then I repeat, and then I wake up. Toss, I turn, and then I repeat. When I try to lay down, I toss, turn, repeat. I just wanna get some fucking sleep, but I'm on that running late, wrong turn, every red light. Life not much left, so you gotta get right. Life tired all day, but alive all night. Life tired all day, and I just wanna get some.
And that was Sleep is for the Weak.
So I really don't on weekends.
All right, man. So you are in a band, a hardcore band, as we stated earlier, and you have been on the show before talking about that band. The band is called Farooq, and you're out of Fresno, and you guys are pretty damn awesome.
Thank you.
But this show is for your rap side and everything. I do have to ask though, what is the differences between the writing for each project? They are almost polar opposites. Do you have to be in a different headspace, or is this all Daniel coming out in each project?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I love having both because, you know, there's the thing about doing a hardcore band is you're not pissed off all the time. and you don't want to yell about your problems all the time, you know? It's funny that you mentioned Farooq, because right when you said that, our guitarist Billy just texted me in the group text. So something's going on with those guys. I don't know what they're doing. So I'm getting text messages. The writing process, I wouldn't say is that much different, other than that I get to collaborate with, 4 of the coolest dudes I know.
Nice.
In Farooq. And so I enjoy that I don't have to be so into the production of it and the instrumentals and the drums and all that, because just like we were talking about earlier, I can let Phil be the guitarist he is. I can let Eric be the awesome drummer that he is. And, I do very much help and have a hand in the songwriting when it comes to riffage and arrangement and, the dynamics of it, the stops and the goes and slow downs and speed ups. I have a hand in that, but sometimes I don't have to, and it's really awesome because I like writing lyrics. That's what I really have a passion for. And when you were talking about writer's block, like, that stuff doesn't occur to me because I have so much to say and so much to do that even if it isn't coming out exactly the way I want, if I can get it out there, I could fine-tune it later, and it's all good. And so the cool thing about having both is there are certain things that I may not be able to express completely, in my opinion, with the rap stuff. Like, you can always say things, and that's one way to express it, but I feel like the way you emote it is just as important sometimes as how you say it,
Yeah.
As what you say, I should say. And so I like having both. It doesn't differ so much because I'm just expressing myself. I do the same things for both. I hear instrumentation, I let that instrumentation talk to me and tell me which direction to go, and then I follow this path that it gives me. Like, I'm kind of reacting to my own thoughts and experiences and then writing them out as a reaction. And
Nice.
I've been lucky enough to be able to develop the ability to channel emotions. When I hear certain instrumentation, I am able to take myself somewhere mentally and channel emotions, so then I can react to that scenery I put around myself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, man, I completely understand. So you're doing the rap project all by yourself, and sometimes the song just isn't panning out, and you have to take a step back. Have any of these songs actually been ones where you actually had to step away for a minute and possibly move on to something else before you were able to sit down and get the song right?
Kind of. I have like a bunch of different versions of them. But saying I was doing it all by myself may not be 100% correct. Like, I'm writing all the lyrics by myself. But the guitars and instrumentation would be nothing. It just wouldn't be without Arthur Bueno.
Yeah.
The production is a collaborative effort. The rest of the songs and how they're made is pretty much all me. But there's a good few key people that I ran them by. Caden at Hypergiant was just a great encouragement. I had a really good friend I work with. His name is Steve M. He also goes by the name of Optimus. He was a prominent hip-hop artist and sound engineer and producer, and I ran the entire thing by him. And the fact that he gave me his support helped me mix some of it. He actually mixed one of the songs on there,
Oh, nice.
and then helped me with the rest of it. His encouragement and his approving ear very much helped me move forward on things and discussions with him, as well as other artists I work with like J-Dub, Rob D, Guilt, DP3, my buddy Beats, who actually beatboxes. He beatboxed, did the scratching sounds through Sleepers for the Week, the song you just heard.
Nice.
There's some scratching sounds. He beatboxed those, so there's a great network I have of people around who helped me gain perspective on some of these songs where I was feeling like, ugh, I hate this, because a lot of this was way too personal for me, and I didn't want to do it. And then I'd run it by people, and they're like, this is awesome, keep going, Even Zero Lopez,
Nice.
he didn't just do art, he helped he helped me get my head straight for putting these songs out. And I chalked them up to expression. Like some of these songs didn't, like the lyrics didn't ever get written down. I made this up in my head, arranged it in my head, some of the songs.
Wow.
And then just knew what I was doing when in instrumentals, and then just sat there and expressed myself, just told the story in front of a microphone. Which is cool, because then you can close your eyes, you don't have to read. And it becomes more about, again, how you're saying it than what you're saying. You know, what I was saying was important, but I already had an idea of what I was saying, so then it became just pure expression, you know?
Yeah. All right, but, so you mentioned in this previous that one of the gentlemen you work with mixed one of the songs. Who did the rest of the mixing and engineering and everything? Was that you?
Yep.
You did. So how did you develop that style that you've worked into this EP?
This style was made for this EP, for these songs, and for these instrumentals. Every time I engineer and mix something, it is a per song thing. I want to create a story per song. So even if it isn't my own music and I have an artist like my cousin, but I call him my brother, J-Dub, like he comes through and he has these ideas for these songs, and whether I'm doing the production on it or just helping him put them together and engineer them, you know, you create the style for that instrumentation. You create that style for that song, for that expression that he wants to make. So it was done on a individual basis. That's why these 6 songs are very special to me. There's no filler, in my opinion, because each one is its own story. It's like an episode, you know?
Yeah, I got you, man.
But yeah, it's just me going back and forth. I'd hit record, walk up to the microphone, try to one-track it all, and then repeat the process.
So did you also master it, or did you send that off and have somebody else work on that?
No, I did that too.
You did? Nice.
The best I could.
So you're all inclusive. You're just one-man band.
I try.
Hey man, I try to do that too. My ultimate goal is to have, release an album that's just me playing everything and singing what I want to sing, and that is my ultimate goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's just, that's something I've never walked down, a path that's just not lit for me yet. So hopefully within time I'll be able to do that.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, man, I mean, you put your mind to it, it's going to happen eventually. You just got to persevere.
Totally.
All right, so before we get into this next song, what are your plans for the future of this EP? You said that maybe vinyl would be something, but are there any other ideas in the pipeline?
I did want to make, I still do want to make a video for Sleepers for the Week that just happened. I kind of have been shopping around. I was first shopping around people who make videos, cinematographer type people. But I think I might do something different with it. And I'm not going to give it away yet.
Aww.
But I don't know if I want to sit there and star in my own video and rap at a camera. I'm more outside the box than that, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
So I have some ideas for it, and I'm shopping them and saving up my pennies. And so there's that. And then I will be traveling with this EP. Official announcement hasn't been made yet, but there's the scoop. You may see me in more than one state in the next few months. And when that breaks, I will hit you with it so you can break that news for real.
Awesome, man.
But that's also, we'll say, in the works. There's nothing has been slated out. There's, but there are plans and there are arrangements that I'm making to get my butt in other states and in other cities, trying to get these CDs in people's ear holes.
So have you actually performed these songs live, or is this something yet to be done? Yeah,
I've done a few live performances of my old stuff years ago, and I've done rap battles and things like that. But these songs. I actually did some of them in San Jose. I want to say in early May or in late April, mid-April, I think is when I did it. Wow, it's been that long. I actually did them at a hardcore show. My homie Paco from Maya Over Eyes was putting on a show out there, and he wanted some hip hop. He wanted some hip hop out there, so he took me out there, and I, got off of work, got a little bit of sleep, drove my butt over there, and did the show. Hung out with the great Bay Area people, and did some hip hop. I think we played with I played with a band called Mala Vida. They're from up around there.
Nice.
Really cool dudes. Awesome tunage. Really cool riffs. And there's a few others. My buddies in Days of Struggle from Tijuana, they were supposed to play it, but unfortunately their band broke down, which was a bummer.
All right, so can you tell me about the song Maybe?
Yeah, actually I can. I chose this one to be played because I feel like people might not know why it's so weird. And I had one of my friends that I was showing the songs to, Darrell, who's a really great rapper and just all around good dude. He heard that one and was like, "That should be your single. That should be everything. That's going to be your song." Like, he was just super sure of it. And then the EP comes out and nobody's talking about it like that, They're talking about other songs, which is dope that they're even talking about any songs. Like, I'm stoked on that part of it. But, like, Darrell was like, "Mark my words, this is going to be the song," and da-da-da-da. And he's a sharp dude. Like, I take everything he says seriously. And I wanted to give it some more light because I think that it may have been an important song to him because he understands me and knows me, and he understood the process behind it, where Art came in, of course, started playing guitar riffs. But it took me a minute. I didn't realize that the guitar riff he was laying down, and all of them he was laying down, were in 3/4 timing, not 4/4.
Oh.
And let's get nerdy real quick. Most rap and hip hop that I know of, and that most people know of, that's in 4/4 timing. This was not. So I made the beat in 3/4 timing, which it took me a good couple hours. Like, why is this not looping right, dude? What are you doing, Art? It was in 3/4. So once I changed the signature to 3/4, everything came together. And so I think a lot of people don't understand why it sounds weird and why it's spaced out so different. It's because it's in 3/4. And this was actually one of the songs that I didn't write down. I didn't write it down at all. I drove.
Nice.
This was maybe 2 years in the making, this song.
Oh, wow.
I drove around. I drive to go see my homie Frankie at Gold Star Barbershop to cut my hair. I drive all the way to Visalia just for him to cut my hair. And I drive there with these instrumentals, and particularly this instrumental, because this was a tough one to write to, And 3/4 timing, rapping to it is it's a different beast. So I took a few drives. I got lost in the Visalia area a few times, just kind of spacing out and driving to the song and listening to it and trying to make it into something. And the song kind of chronicles my journey, where it was a battle with some doctors might say depression, and kind of takes you through the beginning, middle, and what I would say is like a resolution of it. And so it's a really important song to me. And if people hate it, it's cool. They just don't understand it. You know what I mean? And I'll see them in the pit anyways. But that's maybe. I'm stoked on the song, like that it even became a song was cool because it was very difficult to make for so many different reasons. Not just instrumentally, but putting myself out there like that and telling the story. And I'm stoked on the story and how it came together. And there's I don't know if you pen and paper everything.
Yeah.
The satisfaction of not penning and papering something and creating a story and memorizing it is just a whole new one that will seriously make you feel so alive. And that was what was cool about writing this, is that there's like a bridge before each chorus. And each bridge is similar, but they're slightly different, and you could tell how they're different is it's a progression of, it's an improvement on the one before it.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to see if you find it when you listen to it.
All right, man. Here is Maybe.
This just may be the only thing I ever do with all of my mind and all of my heart. How did I start? Well, I always had a lot to say. Back then there wasn't much to do with all of my time. Now I'm apart from everything I thought I loved and held so close, oh hell. And now I'm stuck, I can't get out. This is a roach motel. Don't mean to bug, but hear me out. I'm told my flow won't sell, but I just exercise these demons, hoping they work out. And if they don't, oh well. I mean, I tried. Sometimes all you can do is try. But this just may be the one place I belong. This just may be my heart, my soul. And this just may be why I had this life and I'm trying not to lose it. Okay, okay. Damn. It's really not okay. Cause if you knew how much I used to care, you'd think it would be too much. Afraid to say how much I love you, knowing it ain't enough. Just let it play, let it play. So things ain't going your way, just let it play, let it play. At least you're getting through your days, just let it play, let it play. Cause you can't stop or rewind. We walk a thin line between we're off and it's fine. Why am I living off of maybes? Guess I'm into taking chances, huh? Why am I okay with maybes when maybe's not a valid answer? And why am I accepting maybe when that's a state of mind that I don't wanna be in? And what I've seen through these seasons had me stop my believing, and all without reason. I mean, I tried. Watched my whole life pass me by. But this just may be the one place I belong. This just may be my heart, my soul. And this just may be why I have this life and I'm trying not to lose it. Okay, okay. I'll try to be okay. But if you knew how much I used to care, you'd think it would be too much. Afraid to say how much I love you, knowing it ain't enough. Now why am I so different? Why can't I just stop this? Why do I not think that I deserve a chance? How am I still living? How can I still progress? How do I still run when I take such a stance? Damn, there I go, speeding and not heeding the signs. And there I go, but I'm seeing the lights, and at least I abide. For the time being, with time being one of those things that I need, seems to be never enough now. Is it better to bluff when they ask me why I'm not a rapper? Cause of me and the most of that shit is just fake. Why don't I let myself cry? Same reason I don't really listen to Drake. Why try when you feel like it's passed you by? Cause this just may be the one place I belong. This just may be my heart, my soul. And this just may be why I have this life and I'm trying not to lose it. Okay, okay. Okay, I think I'll be okay. But if you knew how much I used to care, you'd think it would be too much. Afraid to say how much I love you, knowing it ain't enough.
And that was Maybe. So Daniel, we're almost done with this interview and everything. I would really, really like you to explain how people can get your album and where they can find you on the internet and connect with you.
All right, cool. Well, to get my album, I'll be on the corner of Blackstone and Herndon every night from 10:30 to 10:31 with a sign. No. Or don't go to Blackstone and Herndon every night between 10:30 and 10:31. You're not going to see me there. Or maybe you will. I don't know. You'll see somebody that looks like me. His name's Hector. He's a cool enough guy, but he needs to get his life together. You can go to Hypergiant Records, Hypergiant, just how it's spelled, all one word, hypergiantrecords.com. You can get my cassette from there. You can get my compact disc from there, and you can pick up Orthodox, whatever they're doing. You can buy all their stuff, too, because I'm their biggest fan. and you can send it to me because I like it. Hypergiantrecords.com. You could also follow me on all the social networkings ever. in Vine, at Vxdedxv. If you just Google that, you'll find all my stuff.
Nice.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, the Vine. We'll do it for the Vine.
All right, so before we say our goodbyes, can you please go into what your name means? The Vxdedxv.
You said it wrong. You're fired.
Oh, well, damn. Hey, man, I had a good run. It's been like 2 months. Yeah.
Well, you have to make your exit now.
Oh, damn it.
I'll be taking over the local music revolution.
You can't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I'll be taking it over. It'll be shot every night on the corner of Blackstone and Herndon between 10:30 and 10:31. The name is my initials. I had a lot of friends call me D, so that just kind of went as a thing. But when I decided on the name, I just used my initials because what I do is who I am, and vice versa. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. I'm getting text messages from my sweetheart.
It's all good, man.
So that's what the DED was. It's my initials, but it also can stand for dude is extremely determined and all kinds of other cool things. The X's and V's are a vegan and straight edge thing because, again, very much a big part of who I am are those things, my veganism, my straight edge.
Awesome,
and so that's always been a part of me, and it always will.
All right, man. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. I'm really, really excited about what you're doing. Congratulations on getting it out. Congratulations on getting signed and being awesome. And, yeah, let me know if any of those tours or anything comes through. I will be more than willing to interview you again or talk to you again. And maybe next time we'll be able to fit wrestling into this.
Yeah, we could do a quick update follow-up if you want to. I'm super down. Like I said, tune in next week for Daniel Dominguez DED's Local Music Revolution on the corner of Blackstone and Herndon between 10:30 and 10:31. Don't be late.
All right, man. Thank you again. You have a good night.
Thank you, man. You too.
So that was Daniel. I was able to sit down, listen to the song. I think that I have the difference that Daniel was talking about. I am not sure. I don't want to say it just in case I am wrong, so I'm going to confirm with him. Maybe release that on social media, see if how far off I was, and go from there. Daniel also mentioned touring in this episode. It was recorded a few months back when the tour had not been announced yet. The great thing is he was able to go on tour. He just got back, as I stated in the beginning of the interview. His solo project, his band Farooq, and a couple other bands toured pretty extensively throughout the U.S. I'm not exactly sure how long it was because I don't have the dates in front of me, but it was fairly substantial for an independent artist. So congratulations, guys. I'm very, very happy for you guys. If you're interested in getting Daniel's music, the rest of the tracks that you didn't hear, what you can do is you can go to hypergiantrecords.com and you can search for Vxdedxv. His release is currently on download, cassette, and CD. And I believe he does also have a single out on Hypergiant Records. So go and check that out. Contact Daniel. Tell him what you think about his music. And most importantly, tell him that you heard the interview on the Local Music Revolution. Speaking of which, I'm very, very interested to hear what you guys have to say about how the show is coming along. And if you have any suggestions, I'm more than willing to hear what you guys want to hear. If you have any artists that you want to hear on the show, I'd be more than willing to hear those too. I'm always looking for new artists and new interactions with people that are listening. You can find the podcast on Facebook, facebook.com/thelocalmusicrevolution, on Twitter @TLMR podcast, on Instagram @thelocalmusicrevolution, on Tumblr. Yes, the podcast has a Tumblr. Hasn't been updated in a while because it stopped functioning with WordPress, but it is there. So it's tumblr.com/thelocalmusicrevolution. And, of course, I have WordPress. What everything is run through, how this podcast gets to where it needs to go, what makes sure that you guys hear content every week is WordPress. So if you guys want to go to thelocalmusicrevolution.wordpress.com, all of the previous episodes are there. I am working on so many more things. I am currently have random starts twice a week, on Friday and on Monday, to start your weekend and to start your week, your work week, because nobody likes Mondays. What is up with that? I don't understand it. In any event, the random starts are there just to show you guys what I'm listening to during that day, and gives you kind of something else to listen to if you are looking for something new. You can also comment, subscribe, rate, and add The Local Music Revolution on iTunes and Stitcher. All you have to do is go to the podcast section of iTunes, search The Local Music Revolution. You will find me there, or the podcast there. All you have to do is subscribe, rate, comment, make sure that you're letting your voice be heard. Let me know what you think about the podcast. For all of you Android users, such as myself, I use Stitcher. I am featured on Stitcher, so download the Stitcher app onto your phone, open that bad boy up, sign up for an account, and then when you are done, look for The Local Music Revolution. Every one of the 30 episodes will be on there. Also, something really cool that I decided to start doing, I have started adding the episodes to YouTube. So you can go look up The Local Music Revolution on YouTube, and you will find all of the current episodes on YouTube, ready for you to listen, to stream, whatever you want to do. There are 3 major listening sources right there. Plus, you can download or stream off of the initial post on the WordPress. I'm always interested in finding new artists, new bands, and new people that own companies that help musicians out. So if you know of anybody, please send them to the localmusicrevolution.wordpress.com. There is an interview sign-up sheet. I need you guys to fill that out to make sure that I have the basic information to be able to start working on getting your interview. I do need to look you guys up, see what you guys are about, and go from there. We're trying to just help out local musicians, and I want to know what I'm talking about when I interview you guys. So that's why I asked for the interview sign-up sheet. I do appreciate you guys doing that for me. It makes the process easier. And I do appreciate the fact that you guys have been so great to me, and the fact that I was able to find a great sponsor in Stringjoy. Again, I've said this before, I'll say it a million times. I've talked to Scott, the owner of Stringjoy. This guy is amazing. He wants to help guitarists and bassists find their tone. And what better way to start with strings? Brand new strings coming straight out of the factory, straight to you, not sitting in the warehouse because of mass production. Seriously, it's straight to you as soon as you order it. So go to stringjoy.com, go check out, they have custom sets, they have tension-based sets, bass, acoustic, and electric guitar sets, and amazingly enough, Stringjoy has been gracious enough to give me a promo code to pass on to the listeners of the Local Music Revolution. So, after you've picked your set of strings, you're at checkout, enter the promo code LOCAL, that's LOCAL, and you will get a discount because you are a Local Music Revolution listener. Next week, I have a band from the Central Coast of California. They are O'Donovan. I don't really know how to describe them. It's very difficult to describe them. They're something completely different, and I was recommended these guys from my good friend Ethan Shepard, aka Cool Homer Jack. You heard him, I believe it was episode 27. Go check it out again because, that episode was actually really, really awesome, really fun, pivotal in, all of the things current that I'm doing with the podcast. Ethan suggested that I check these guys out. I was able to get a hold of Tyler, the singer, and he talked about how great O'Donovan is. So check out the episode, listen to the songs, go check out the bands, as you should do with everybody featured on this show, because local music is amazing. There's so many talented people. Honestly, I have 30 episodes of greatly talented people just sitting here waiting to have fans latch on to them. So it's your job now. Go check these guys out. Find something you like. If you do, contact the Local Music Revolution. Let me know what you think about these episodes, about these guests, and let me know what you think about local music. That's it for this episode. Thank you again so much for being part of this. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of your love and your support. Everyone has been so amazing. This podcast is growing a lot faster than I ever thought it would. So thank you guys. It's all you. It's the artists and it's the listeners. You guys make this amazing. Thank you so much. As always, this is the Local Music Revolution. I am Ogre. You are freaking awesome. Until next time, take care and be good, everyone.
This is the Local Music Revolution. The Local Music Revolution. The Local Music Revolution. 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 Local Music Revolution.